it's become quite a large festival now. And also through them I've met other people that I've also worked with again, and I've done other talks for airspace and for people that are associated with airspace, again which are paid. And recently, very recently, I've just got quite a big commission with another group in Stoke-on-Trent, but there are connections with, or through the airspace thing. So it's sort of been a sort of 5 or 6 year journey of starting out, getting nothing, and then it's slowly built into a more professional situation. How you can guess that's going to happen at the start, I don't know, but I mean, they approached me as well, which I also thought was, which may have had something to do with it. When someone approaches you to show, you sort of feel like you've been chosen. But I've got there's another picture of that one.
So are you moving to Stoke-on-Trent now? That's where the money is.
It appears to be. I'm going to be spending quite a bit of time there in the next few months. So I've got a checklist for how I appraise an opportunity. Number one is suitability. Does the opportunity actually ask for the kind of work that I do, and does it complement my practice? It sounds obvious, I think, but it does happen. I've spent ages on an application and then realised that they're not really asking for what I do. It takes a lot of time and effort to write up a proposal and assemble all of your visual material, and it's not, if it's not for the right project, you're wasting your own time and that of the people who have to go through all the submissions. Does the project pay a fee? And if not, does it pay expenses? As mentioned earlier, I'm trying to stick to this one, and I regularly pass over calls that do not offer any money. Sometimes a combination of the first, third and fourth points get the better of them. The third point being artistic work. Does the opportunity promote development for my practice? Would it provide me with a fantastic new work? Is the space really exciting and inspiring? Does it fulfil a burning ambition to create a particular work? All these things I find really important. Career prospects. Does the opportunity have the possibility of furthering my career? For example, is it at a venue or with an organisation with the kind of reputation that you respect? So research the organisation, find out about previous shows and who they've worked with, what happened to them afterwards. And if you like what you see, then go for it. And then the last one, but rising, is political impact. Political in the sense of, will the work produced be able to add to and compound the argument for the value of arts in society? I'm interested in the idea that through our work we can make a case for our survival. I'm not talking about an overt message, although if you want to do that you can, but a subtle undercurrent of dissent about the situation. Your work itself does not really have to change that much, and I don't really want to tell you what work to make. But if you have this idea in mind whilst working, the art you produce might just have that little extra edge. It makes people realise what it is about it that they need, and why they shouldn't let it wither. The reason I've described how I work, and my method of choosing what to apply my time to, is to highlight the different ways artists work. I'm sure you all have different methods which have either grown out of necessity or for your own research or practice, or both. And you all make a living in different ways. My practice is not necessarily the right way. I think there are many right ways, many ways to work. Artists are usually very resourceful people with very diverse skills, and we find ways of making ends meet while still making time for making art. It is this diversity which perhaps makes it difficult to understand what an artist is. So easy shorthand stereotypes are used, and we are all painted with the same brush. During my degree, my work focused on how artists are perceived and how we can manipulate aspects of our personas, and I work to create context for it to exist within, how we create value. So this is a work from 1998, in the final year of my degree. It's called Counterwork, which some of you might recognise as the name of my website. And this was, it was like a piss take really of performance art. I got all these different bits of gear together and got a 10-minute videotape, and I just sort of asked about in front of a video camera for 10 minutes.
How did you do it?
Just in overalls and cricket pads with some masks that I made. And then I played the film back. I took loads and loads of photos off the screen and then I selected 7 and hand-bound them into a book. And then I wrote a really vague, art-speaky essay about the performance. And then I put it in the college library. And it was looking at how... I liked looking through things like Joseph Beuys books and Paul McCarthy and things like that, and where you'd see these people doing these gestures, and you never saw the performance. So you only had in your head this sort of vague idea of what they did. And I thought a quick way of creating that value was just to cut out having a performance, even though what I did possibly was a performance, but no one saw it. So I destroyed the tape afterwards as well. So the only thing you're left with is this sort of anachronistic record. And even the pictures are not necessarily in the right order anyway. And then this weird sort of text about what may or may not have happened. So you can sort of create your own rich white performance. So yeah, I think my current work is a development from that. The core of my practice is still concerned with the perception of art and value, but also kind of reversal, as I felt that this sort of thing was less accessible. It was art for artists. I don't think that I make particularly inaccessible work now. I don't immerse it in art speak or conceptualise it beyond what I feel are my own intentions and ideas about how I want my art to operate. I think it's very easy to overthink and over-theorise art, very easy to apply meanings to work in retrospect, as I did with this piece. I try to make things that are enticing and intriguing and that draw you in. And I hope this is a good example of that. This was at Floor Plan in Brighton, which Rosalind was also in. And this, again, I did some research about the place, and I found out an event, a story. And the story is about an old lady who lived in one of the terraced houses where the gallery now stands. When they first built the building in the 70s, it was going to be an office block, and they had to demolish this row of terraced houses to make way for it. And all the people that lived there sold their houses apart from this one old lady right in the middle of it. And she wouldn't sell. So they bought all the other houses either side of her, levelled them, and they built the building around her and waited for her to die. And then after she died, they knocked her house down and they filled in the middle part of the building. So what I did was sort of embellish the story and changed it slightly, and this work implies that she didn't die, that she's living in the walls of the gallery. So Miss Harriet Sylvester has been in that crawl space, which is a completely fabricated crawl space. I built a new wall along the back of the gallery, and then smashed that hole through. And if you poke your head through the hole, you can look down this corridor and see this little room at the end. And you go down into the room, and there's this tiny little sort of nest with a desk and furniture and a bed, all made out of found materials and things that have been acquired from the artist's studios in the rooms above, as if she'd been getting out at night when everyone else is away and nicking things from their studios.